Teacher talking sports, what does, what do, how we live. And let's finish off the NFL Mount Rushmore series I've been doing, where I name who I believe are the four best players in each decade. Started with the 2010s. I'm going to end with the 1940s. Now I know football went on before that, but I just figured this would be the right time to end. But anyhow, let's take a look at the four guys I chose. I'll go into detail on what they did in their careers as the video goes on. But in alphabetical order by last name, I included Sammy Baugh, Don Hutson, Sid Luckman, and Steve Van Buren. Probably the toughest guy to leave off was Bulldog Turner. Other honorable mentions include Dante Lavelli, Marion Motley, and Bob Waterfield, just to name a few. But let's get into the four I chose, again, alphabetical order by last name, starting with Sammy Baugh, the sixth overall pick in the 1937 NFL Draft, inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1963. Baugh played the entire decade with the Washington Redskins. In that time, playing quarterback, he completed 58.7% of his passes, 17,002 yards, 149 touchdowns, a 78.7 rating. I mean, those are all excellent numbers, especially when it comes to his era. I mean, he also punted the ball as well, but he was named a first-team All-Pro 3 times in the decade. There's a ton of bold ink on his page, especially in the 40s, as he led the league in completion percentage 8 times. Incredible 70.3 completion percentage in 1945, especially for the era. Incredible. Twice led the league in touchdowns, led the league in rating 3 times, a 109.9 rating in that aforementioned 1945 season. A guy who also led the league in punting average 5 times in the decade, including 51.4 yards per punt in 1940. Sammy Baugh, seen as one of the best players in Washington history, won a championship with the team in 1942. Sammy Baugh, again, when I did my Mount Rushmore's best player, when I did my best player series for each franchise, I actually named Sammy Baugh as the best player in Washington franchise history, and he's on my Mount Rushmore for 1940s players. I should also mention intercepted 11 passes in 1943 and had 31 total in the decade. More of an era where guys sometimes played both sides of the field. Next, let's go with Don Hutson, inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1963. Now, Hutson only played 6 seasons in the decade from 1940 to 1945, but it was an awesome time in the decade. One of the most productive receivers when accounting for era. In those 6 seasons, Hutson caught 329 passes for 5,089 yards, 63 touchdowns, also ran for 3 touchdowns, was named a first-team All-Pro all 6 seasons in the decade. 1942, these were in 11 games, 74 catches, 1,211 yards, 17 touchdowns. I mean, when you go by the all-time best wide receiver seasons, when you count for games played, that's up there as one of the best. But he led the league in receptions each of his last 5 seasons in the league, led the league in receiving yards 4 times, led the league in receiving touchdowns 4 times as well. Also was a kicker, connecting on 172 of his 183 extra points, intercepted 30 passes from 1940 to 1945. Again, another two-way player. Part of a championship team in 1944, Don Hutson, one of the all-time great receivers, one of the all-time great Green Bay Packers, the second member of my 1940s Mount Rushmore. Next, let's go with Sid Luckman, second overall pick in the 1939 draft, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1965. Luckman played the entire decade with the Bears at quarterback from 1940 to 1949. Luckman completed 52.4% of his passes, 131 yards, 13,870 yards, 131 passing touchdowns, a 75.3 rating. Just like the other guys, he did more than that. He also punted and had 17 interceptions in the decade, 2 seasons with 4. But yeah, most of his time was as a quarterback. That's where he's most known for. Luckman was 5 times a first-team All-Pro in the decade, led the league in completion percentage once, passing yards 3 times, passing touchdowns 3 times. 28 passing touchdowns in 1943 in just 10 games. Led the league in rating 3 times. Again, 107.5 rating in the aforementioned 1943 season. Was quite awesome for the time. Was a part of numerous championship teams, 1940, 1941, 1943, and 1946. It's crazy all these years later, and Bears fans are really looking for that next star quarterback. They really haven't had one since Sid Luckman, even though it's been 7.5 decades since he last played. Third member of my 1940s Mount Rushmore, and we're going to end with Steve Van Buren. He was the 5th overall pick in the 1944 NFL draft, so he played 7 seasons in the decade, and really made them count. Was an excellent player. In his 7 seasons in the decade, as a runner, 5,533 rushing yards, 63 rushing touchdowns, also added 3 receiving touchdowns. Van Buren was a 5-time first-team All-Pro in his 7 years in the decade. 4 times he led the league in rushing. In 1947, he became the first 1,000-yard rusher. He did it again in 1949 when he rushed for 1,146 yards. Led the league in rushing touchdowns 4 times. All 4 of the seasons had at least 10, a career high of 15 coming in 1945. So was running the ball way more than anyone else really in his era. Also intercepted 9 passes in the decade, including 5 in his rookie season. Part of 2 championship teams with the Eagles in 1948 and 1949. Steve Van Buren, the 4th and final member of my 1940s Mount Rushmore. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Of course, not easy to do. This is, again, more than 8 decades ago, some of these years. But yeah, these guys are still considered legends of the game. And again, the Bears are looking for another star quarterback since Sid Luckman. But yeah, this was fun. You could check out my playlist, NFL Mount Rushmores. Did these best players in 4 best players in each franchise's history and the 4 best players at each position. Done it for other sports as well. Did my best players from each decade in the MLB as well. And I plan on doing it for the NBA and NHL. Once they're in the off season, I like doing these Mount Rushmore videos when, there's not as much going on because it is the off season. But yeah, very fun to do. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.